This is an addendum to my prior audio tape when I discussed about how we get attached to things, and we like wearing the bling bling and make people think that they're better and you're inferior, and it's a means of taking your energy or that free radical. I was even thinking further with that concept. I was thinking about like how we get things, and even one other YouTuber had mentioned that, you know, even the Bible could become an idol to you. You know, like we get these, you know, luxury big homes, more than we need, or we spend all our money on clothes and you don't have even food to eat because we want to feel a certain way. We want to take that energy or that electron from someone or something else through, you know, the item itself. But you know what else? That, you know, that with metaphysics, that these items, whether it be a pair of jeans, jewelry, a home, shoes, etc., that these things have energy in itself. You know, even your little pets, it has energy, it has life force in it. And that all life force, even inanimate objects like rocks, have a consciousness, has a force in it. And that consciousness is in everything. It can think. It'd probably be able to communicate with us if we knew how to listen. But look at this, that, see, they're in the same world we're in, and they need to get fed also, just like I do, just like we do. It could believe, that rock could believe, yes, I'm part of a larger structure, this, you know, tree of life. Or it too could think in terms of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and get distracted and just start fighting the air and fighting its neighbor, fighting another rock to stay alive. So it has to be fed too. So what does it do? You know, in our daily walk, you know, I was thinking about a cousin of mine. She was nice enough to share the story with me. She believed the idea. I mean, it's a beautiful idea. You know, she didn't come from a rich family, and she gets married and has 2 children, and she said, you know, this happened like 13 years ago. She said that she wanted to get a house built, you know, not even buy a house, but to build a house in this area, some area in Pennsylvania. I think it's the Poconos. And I remember like 20 years ago, I was hearing a lot of commercials about the Poconos, and, you know, it's supposed to be like a luxury place, a place that you can escape into. Okay, that was the key thing, escape into. But she, about 13 years ago, she wanted to build a house somewhere because her children were very young back then, you know, relatively young, and they were just starting their little families, you know. And she liked the idea of being able to pass on something to the children, and that it would be an investment and a vacation home, since her children, her grandchildren, you know, like sport, you know, like skiing, you know, cold weather sports, and this home that's being built is right on top of a mountain or some type of big hill or something like that. Really nice. So she thought, this is great. You know, we've all had, you know, might have heard of stories like this. You know, it's very benevolent. She wants to pass on something to someone else, you know, an inheritance. So she built something, had it built, but guess what? It was strings attached to it, getting it built, that she didn't know about. Because in this neighborhood, this area, she didn't know, I mean, also, you know, she had the house paid up front in cash, you know. So initially she had like a, you know, like she paid you know, every month, you know, to build the house. You know, she had that part financed, you know, the process of actually building the home. But once everything was made, you know, completed, they paid up front the house. Okay? So she thought she had it made, you know, said that the value of this house will increase, and she could pass it on to her children to get an inheritance, which is a beautiful thing. But what she didn't know was that that land had other taxes to it. You know, yes, you know, we all know about, you know, a property tax, but there was a school tax attached to it. And it was an exuberant amount of money. And because they have prime real estate in this Pocono area, it's right by a lake, you know, overlooking a lake and everything. It's really nice. They have to pay even more money to have that, more taxes, just because of the land itself. And on top of that, the school tax. And she can't really get out of it. And she shared with me, she was nice enough to tell me, you know, because something like that you wouldn't want people to know, but, you know, because I said, oh, wow, you paid your house in cash up front and no mortgage? That's fantastic. And she says, well, it wasn't as bright as she wasn't as bright as she thought she was. She didn't know about the school tax, at least that the amount of money that it was going to entail. And she, you know, she feels bad about it, and she can't really do anything about it, you know. And again, she had the house made for vacation home and as an inheritance, but it's costing her. So in tying up this video, so here the illusion was, hey, let's get a house. Oh, okay, let's get a house, and then let's every year pay money for these taxes, school tax. And let's say you don't even have kids, and you have to pay maybe $10,000 a year in school tax alone. This one other relative I found out has to pay, because where his house is right near New York City. It's some part of Westchester. $20,000 a year. Not you know, not. I mean, it's ridiculous. 1 year. That's not including the mortgage. Just taxes alone. But you have this property, and you know, no one wants to buy the property because it's too expensive to live in. So you're stuck, and you're feeding this thing, the system. You're paying the banks your money, your energy, your electron, your life force. You work in order to pay off this bill. You know, even if your house is paid in full, you have to pay every year this money to someone who's didn't contribute to you. So in essence, what you planted, someone else is reaping off of you. So the same with this system of fear, this fear-based system. This fear-based system, because of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a fear-based system that I'm a free radical, and I need to take an electron to get stabilized. to get into an equilibrium. And when I can't get it, I'm crazy, and I'll do anything to get it. Where we live in this world, and we believe in these illusions of, I have to have this, I have to buy that. But there's strings attached. And when you get it, you find out that it's a burden. And it's sucking you dry. My cousin would have been better off just handing her kids the money, like the money that she paid up front for the house. It was $300,000 house that she paid up front in cash. She could have just taken that $300,000 and just put it in she could have just keep it in a regular bank account, and it draw interest, and then just give that money to her kids. But she has to do the property tax and the school tax, and she has no kids in that area. There's no children. So we have to be careful about these illusions that seem so real. Or even with myself, I thought, hey, let me get a college degree. Oh, I need and I was acting like a free radical, crazed, because I feel that I need to get this because society said, well, if I get this, then I get that. So I pumped all this money. And guess what? They changed the rules, the requirements. And that's also what could happen in life with this game called life, the fear-based system of life. They can change the rules on you. So here, you go through a system, and you give it all your money, and then they can change the rules. Or what about Social Security also? They can change the rules on you and push it to another year until you can retire. It's like wagging a little carrot in front of your face, and then when you get to it, oh, I'm sorry. We're being fooled. We're being fooled. We need to stop, think, and to say, this is not where I want to be. I want to live in the tree of life rather than the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which is a fear-based system. Let's stop believing in the illusions and start believing in ourselves that we are part of the tree of life. So take care and enjoy. As I mentioned in my prior audio tape regarding a relative of mine who had a house built for a second home, like a vacation home, and a home that will be an inheritance to her children, and the illusion of all that, and then she didn't realize about the taxes that's eating her up alive, and she had the house built and paid for up front, so there's no mortgage, but every year she has to pay this exuberant amount of money. And I also mentioned in that audio tape that it just feeds it, that objects, even rocks, have a consciousness attached to it. And where I want to bring this audio tape, is that these things, even in houses or possessions, jewelry, things like that, has a mind in itself, and it has its self-preservationist mentality also. Even a rock, it wants to be valued. Like you have people what you call blood diamonds, and you have people in southern Africa who are exploiting the people, the locals that live down there, to dig out these diamonds and other minerals and stones and gems, because these rocks is supposed to be something of value, that you have to value it, and that if you don't have it, you're a nobody. You have to get a diamond ring when you get married. And everybody's fighting to have one. If you don't have one, if you're a lady, you're not a real woman. You better get, you remember these commercials? De Beers? It's a diamond. It's a jewelry store. Very, very well known South African jewelry store. They own the mines down there in South Africa. But like, it could be any object. What I'm getting at. It doesn't have to be a diamond. It could be a piece of wood. Anything. And because, as we learn in metaphysics, that inanimate objects has a consciousness of its own, and if it has a consciousness, as we do, it may be following a belief system like we have, the fear-based one that's based on good and evil, rather than the tree of life, which is something that's connecting to your creator, while the fear-based one is something separate from the creator, and it's causing this radicalism in every sense of the word. So with this radicalized object, because it has its consciousness, it can also manipulate and make you think that you need it to live, like having a diamond ring or a luxury home, and you don't even use it. This relative of mine doesn't even live in that second house. None of the kids that she wants to give the house to when she passes on even lives or even visits the house or even use it. It's like just watering it. Just they feed it every month to pay the bills. She even has the electricity going on in that house, even though she doesn't live in it. Because if she doesn't have the electricity on, the pipes are going to burst in the wintertime. So here, she's putting in money to pay the electric bill, and it's not even occupied. So, this fear-based reality, these objects could lure us into its worship, just like the Bible. That this one YouTuber mentioned, that we even start to worship the book itself of the Bible. And that these objects, because it has a conscience, it can make us think that we need it. And then we buy it. And then it wants worship. Like if you get a car, let's say a car. You get a car. And, some people, they polish it every day. They do this and that. And then you got to, buy the parts for it. And it's sustaining. Like a car, it goes through its apoptosis, so to speak, that the gears wear out and, parts that have to be repaired. And maybe with this car, none of the original parts are even in it because you had to replace everything, over time. Especially if it's a status car. You're pumping all this money into this thing. So in essence, that car is alive. It has a conscience. And it's telling you, you better put more money in me. You better put more gas. I want to live too. I'm part of something special. God loves me too. Feed me. Wash me. Do all these things to me. Worship me. Hey, get a garage and put me in the garage so I can live longer. Or even let's say like boots and shoes. Hey, you better start polishing me. Hey, you got to repair me now. My heel is crooked or it's breaking. You better fix it. Or you go to these stores, like I like to window shop. I like to walk through, neighborhoods where you have things on display, window display. And you see what they do? They put that special lighting on the items, and it looks so, I don't know, it's appealing to me. It's seducing you, the objects. They don't actually have words, but it is seducing you, and it's making you feel you need it. It is communicating to you telepathically. And it's using light. And here, light's supposed to be illuminating, wisdom, but this light, for some reason, is making you, it's clouding your thinking that you must need it. Because these lights have this sparkle to it. They use this special lighting, and it's zooming, and it casts like an accent of color to it. It's something, but it's speaking to you without words. And then you feel that you have to get it, and you bring it home, and you polish it, or you do this or that, and it's consuming. I bought this table once, this work desk. I mean, it comes in handy, but I'm seeing the illusion even in this executive table that I had purchased. It's a big table. And you gotta, when you get something, you have to maintain it. And it takes a lot of work. You gotta dust it off, and it's just work. But this table has a life force in it, and it wants to be heard, and it wants to be fed. Because it has its preservationist attitude, and wants to live and be. So you gotta might tell you, hey, you gotta polish me now, you gotta do this, or let's arrange the desk and put the lamp over there and put flowers there, and in essence you're like worshiping it. You're upkeeping it, and it gets you in a cycle. And I'm just seeing that everything that you get is just that. It's a responsibility attached to it. You think that you can't live without it, and the amount of energy that you put into it, because it is alive in itself, and it wants to persevere just like you do. It needs to be fed every day, just like the gods. They want to be fed every day, or even what they call the ancestors. You have people who build shrines in their home. They have candles and things from the deceased person on display, and some of them put fruits and fruits and things that alcohol that they like, and they're feeding it. They're feeding with it that table. It's energy. Isn't that something? So even dead things are being fed your energy. So what I'm getting at, what I'm concluding in this is that we have to start to feed ourselves. We're being tricked into feeding other things. We need to feed ourselves but I'm not saying to take be a radical and take from somebody else. But we're putting all our energies into something, and we're being fooled. So this is again just food for thought while I'm on my spirit journey. And I do not have all the answers. I'm just like everybody else, learning and exploring and learning about myself. Peace to you all.